Welcome to Grimm Gals
Spice Edition. Things are about to get naughty.
Boom, boom. We are in our groove, baby.
Yes.
Oh my God. So we're back.
Yes.
Second season.
Spicing it up.
Spicing it up.
No one saw it coming.
No one saw it coming.
Where's that one?
That's our heartbeat.
Oh, my bad.
You don't have your headphones on. You little loser.
Oh my. I got my headphones on, even though it's not cool to have headphones on anymore. You heard about that?
Yeah, but that's only when you have money. Which we don't, because we're doing this shit ourselves on a budget, and we're doing a good job for a budget. Don't you think?
Producers, yeah, we're the producers, editors.
And this looks great. I think it looks great. But because of that, if we didn't have headphones on, we don't know if we're messing up. We don't know if
that's true.
Like we are hearing something, if something glitches. So
yeah.
At the very least, I need to be wearing them. But if I'm wearing them, you goddamn are wearing them.
I'm going to wear them. Don't worry. I look good.
Mm-hmm.
We look good.
We look good. So as you can tell, we're little devils this season.
Mm-hmm.
We're little devils. We were reapers. We're still reapers in heart.
Yes.
We'll always be the reapers, our Grimm Gal reapers. Mm-hmm. But we're spicing it up this season because first off, as we had said last season, when we talk about death, it's something we want to talk about. We want to get people comfortable with. Right. We're comfortable talking about it. However, not everybody's on board with it. So we're like, okay. I feel like people are starting to pick up, like you said, like towards the end of the season. They're like, I'm loving the death stuff.
Yeah, people warmed up to it at the end, but we have different we wanted to talk about different topics. And even though death is part of life, so is the spice of life. And we wanted to kind of get into that a little bit. And we went all extra because that's how we do things.
Yeah, we go extra. We definitely want to heat it up. And we definitely just want to touch on all the aspects of life. So obviously, we're kind of doing things a little backwards. We're a little backwards people. So we started off with the end of life. Now we're kind of getting into the middle.
Correct.
The spiciness, the middle, the meat. And who knows what will come next. But right now, we're just heating things up, giving you guys a little break from the morbid. I'm sure we will touch on it a little bit because we are darker humans.
Yeah, but now we could get into the sexy stuff, which I know is fun.
What is sexy? What is spice to you, Valeria?
Okay, so I know we were talking about this. Spice for me was, love, sex, then, a little bit warm stuff like what is romance? Like when it comes to sex, like, I don't know, couples, open relationships, things like that. And then when you started talking about it, what is spice to you?
So spice to me is so many things. On the very literal level, it's hot. It could be what makes you heat up inside, whether it's something you just ate, maybe even. What makes you horny?
Or angry.
Anger is huge. So I definitely think that when we talk about what's spicing things up this season, it's going to be all the things that make you fired up. So whether that means something you're passionate about, whether that means something that just really grinds your gears, you are angry.
You want to kill that person.
Oh my God, why do we always go into killing?
We'll hurt that person in not a violent way.
Punch a wall. How about that? How it makes you want to...
Or like revenge. Remember you were saying someone who did you dirty, how do you want to get back?
How you want to get back, all these things. Yeah. So we're going to get into all those topics in the nitty gritty in each episodes of the season. However... on the solo episode, I think it could be interesting for us to kind of briefly touch on what are those different kind of topics we're going to get into this season mean to us. And maybe we want to start with what fires us up about life. That could be interesting to kind of be like, what's something you're passionate about?
Okay, well, I mean, I'll definitely take that one on. Like, I think the stuff that makes me passionate. There was a time in my life where I felt a little bit lost and like depressed, right? And what really got me going on this whole stretch of just like going in for it is I decided that the only person that's going to make my life better is myself, So I really thought about what really gets me excited, what gets me going. And it really was performing on stage. That to me is like exhilarating. I wanted to perfect my body. So I was like, let me just get into fitness like hardcore. And it's something about commitment that really gets me fired up. Like I read a lot of books. Like I love to read books and listen to self-help videos and stuff like that. I know it's corny, but something about committing to things is what really kept me going. Just kept me off this whole like feeling sorry for myself, victim mentality. So what gets me fired up is commitment, and not only in myself, but when I see other people committed to things, it gets me fired up. And that's why I want to talk about it because like people who are committed to something are also passionate, and it gives it a reason for life. And it kind of keeps you going, even amongst all the stuff that happens in life, which, life, it's unpredictable. You can't control it, but you control you and how you handle it. So that's kind of what I'm passionate about in a nutshell.
I absolutely love that answer because it's unexpected. Like it's very simple, but like, of course, that's beautiful because you can apply that to anything in your life. Committing, showing up, stepping up to the plate,
no matter how I feel,
following through,
right? No matter how I feel, if it's raining outside, if it's cold, if I'm sick, if I don't feel like doing it, I'm still gonna do it because that's a promise to myself.
Yeah.
So that really gets me all fired up, all inside, in all types of ways.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that a lot. All right. So what fires this whore up? What fires this whore up? So for me, I guess it's kind of I mean I relate to you on that, but I guess when I first think about like what fires me up is challenging myself and kind of just being a little bit better, learning a little bit more, growing each day, each like milestone, and just kind of pushing myself is what fires me up because I have that competitive edge inside of me, not necessarily against others. I was not like the athlete that was like, oh, I'm gonna dominate and win and take home the trophy. Like I didn't care about that, but it was more like if I made this many goals last game, I want to make that many more next one. And I just want to, at the very least, not get worse than I was.
Yeah.
Either stay the same or get a little better each time. And I think that when I think about life and what fires me up is like, how can I be better? How can I be a better version of myself every day I show up, every gig, every job, every show? How can I be a little bit stronger, a little bit more vibrant, a little more.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
Let me ask you a question about. So can you talk about some of the things that you've made that fired you up this past year? I mean, since we started Grimm Gals, maybe till now, is that a good enough timeline or?
Yeah. So let's figure it out.
Yeah.
We're almost at 6 months of Grimm Gals, I would say.
Yeah.
We started in August and we're in almost March.
Yeah,
so
2024. So it's a brand new year. So we're going to talk about things that you've accomplished and what we're looking forward to. Like then that's going to get us fired up this year, and then how things are going to be like this time next year. You want to like maybe touch upon that a little bit?
Okay, cool. So I guess what fires me up this year is the new challenges I'm facing. So I'm just starting to kind of host these cabaret shows, which is like a new challenge, also very spicy.
It is. We got to get some clips from there. Are you doing that?
Well, regardless of me, just the performers on that show, they are literally using fire. There's fire dancers. There's aerial performances, which for me is a giant fear. I have a fear. I used to think it was heights. It's actually a fear of falling. So aerial performance, like just talking about it, my hands are sweating.
Yeah. And it's so hard to do that, to maintain yourself up there. That takes so much strength.
The core strength is insane. Yeah. They're very strong women. And so the show is very sexy, very girly, very theatrical.
I feel like it's very you.
It is, like I do think it fits me very well, but it's a new challenge because I'm used to hosting just comedy. And comedic hosting is forgiving in my opinion. Like you can kind of be as loose as you want. And I like to kind of dictate my humor based off the audience, based off the room. So if I'm in a room that's like maybe in an Irish pub with heavily intoxicated patrons, I'm going to get loud. I'm going to get raunchy. I'm going to get rough because that's what they want.
Yeah.
And you got to give the people what they want.
Of course.
But then I have like my every Sunday room, talk about spicy. It's a speakeasy connected to a strip club. So
there you go. Look at that.
I know. Talk about spice. Can't get much spicier than that.
Yeah.
So that room, however, even though it's connected to a gentleman's club, gentleman. You like how I changed it from strip club to gentleman because it is a classic, you know?
Yeah, it is very classy. If you guys never been there, it's in West Palm. You guys should look it up.
Yeah, Monroe's. And it's actually known for its steak. It's not just the booty meat, it's the meat that, yeah, they're known as a really great steakhouse in West Palm Beach. So that, because it's a speakeasy, you don't necessarily have to go on the gentleman side of it. It's there. So there's that element of tease and intrigue. But it's also a beautiful lounge, a private club, and a steakhouse. So when you're in that room, it does have a little elevated feel. You're on leather couches, there's chandeliers, there's a fireplace. Like, you can be a little bit saucy. You can get away with saying quite a bit there, but at the same time, they still kind of want you to have a little bit of sophistication with your humor. And it is an intimate room too. So you can test some things, but you want to keep it. Yeah.
But what about this cabaret room? It's more of like a different type of hosting. It's more like a professional.
So I'm kind of describing the different levels of, or at least for me, my experience, because I have different rooms and I'm able to be a different type of performer in. And because I've been doing a lot of those rooms for multiple years, I know them. They make sense to me, and I know my role in that.
Right.
However, this cabaret is, even though you said like, oh, that's so you, it does feel like me. It is a new adventure, a new journey as a host. And that is the fact that I actually am not so much, it's not so much about the funny.
Of course not. It's about the presentation now.
It's the energy. It's you are the flow. You are the vibe. You are the fixture, the character, and almost more of like a showwoman. And so I realized that I'm like, oh, humor is part of it. Definitely you want to be a little cheeky. You want to be a little fun, but it's more like, how do I tell the story of the night? And how do I keep the energy up and the flow and keep people connected? And so every time I do it, I learn a little bit more and I grow a little bit more with that. But it's definitely a new arena. So that's getting me a little fired up.
I kind of feel like, and again, I've never done it before, but I kind of feel like doing that room is like slightly easier than the comedy rooms in a way, as in like there's no pressure for you to be funny necessarily. It's more like a presentation, kind of like you're kind of the ringleader, like you're kind of like it's more like a professional hosting situation instead of you having to make them laugh. Like your personality in itself will make them ha hee hee, but it's not your core job, which is what would be in a comedy club, you know?
So yes and no. I think that maybe it depends on the room you're in, but this is a very elitist Miami room. It's not an easy room. And it is not like humor. I don't know. Humor is easy. Like you have a very immediate reaction. They laughed, you did your job. You know, when it's not on the funny, you don't always have that validation. Oh, this is working. This is doing well. So it's actually, I find it harder to be that because you don't know exactly what you have to know is like, oh, I have to connect these people, and humor is a great way to connect them.
Charisma maybe now.
Yeah, but now it's like so this is the thing. It's like, what's going to be charismatic to women is not always going to be what's charismatic to men. And you have to be very careful because in this space, it is couples. So you got to get the women on your side before you can get the men on your side. Because if you get the men on your side before, now the women hate you. So it's like, it's a dance you got to do. And at the same time, this is now a team sport. This is not about you. I'm not the star of the show. Every single one of us is the star of the show. So you have to complement each other. So I think the more you do it, the more you know your tricks, the more you kind of can script it, the easier it will be. But I guess I think they're equally hard. I wouldn't say one's harder than the other. I think this is just a new venture. So right now, this is more challenging, where I feel like with comedy, the nice thing is that you can switch it up very easily. This you can't switch up as easily. I already established I'm this character. And if all of a sudden I'm like, now I'm this, it's like people are going to be like, what are you doing? But with comedy, you're forgiving. You can 1 minute be like all of a sudden throw out an accent on stage and people love it.
Of
even though
course.
I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
talking in my normal voice, they're
Yeah, yeah.
on board with the accent.
Of course.
If I do that as I'm trying to be the show woman, now they don't know me. Now they're like, this person
Yeah.
schizophrenic? Is this like what's going on here?
Well, I'm so excited to hear more about that as you evolve there. It sounds very exciting. Like, I think for me, I mean, we're just starting the year, and I think one of my exciting things that I'm fired up about is this new season of the podcast, which I know it's not airing till later, so I can't wait till everyone sees it. I'm so excited. So I've been doing a year of podcasting, and it's a really like unexpected route for me. Like, I didn't expect for myself to be on two podcasts. This is our podcast that we started, the Spice Gals, last year. Previous that, I started with another podcast that I'm on, but I'm not sure if the audience knows. I'm with another podcast with Mac Lawson called Mac After Dark, where she has me as her guest host, which is like I've been on there for like almost a year now.
It's so good.
And so I'm very excited to see how that evolves, because like I'm more comfortable in this, because at first when I started it, it was really kind of like nerve-wracking to kind of put myself out there on the internet, because one thing is performing on stage live. That's cool. Another thing is putting yourself out there for everybody in the world to comment, and people are not nice. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're so mean. But I mean, I've kind of hardened that. I'm kind of getting over that anxiety about it, so I'm really happy now. So this year, I really want to focus more on just going even harder when it comes to like online, what's the online social media persona. And I feel way more comfortable with my stand-up, with just me as a character. So this year, I really want to try to expand that. I want to get like a room. I want to start like kind of growing myself a little bit more. I feel like people know me, but they don't really know me. Like I feel like I'm more, even though I'm a performer and I'm out there, I seem very, what's the word called? Not when you're not,
Outgoing.
I'm not outgoing. I'm very outgoing and all that,
Social.
but social, but I'm actually very introverted, and people will find that funny. So I think this year I want to work on really pushing myself as a performer and putting myself out there more, people to get to know me better, because I have a lot of things I want to show. So that's kind of what I'm planning for 2024. So
I love that. And I love that we turned this into like Spice Girls.
Spice motivation.
Spicy Girl. I know. It turned into like Grimm Gals Spice Edition New Year's resolution episode.
Well, we could talk about like what we like in bed and all that shit. Like,
well, I'm sure we will get into some hot and heavy.
Yeah,
and
I didn't want to start with that. I didn't want to be like.
No, I like where we started this episode at. Unfortunately, because of timing, and it was my fault. I will take the heat for this one. I was late because I just, I got a lot of shit going on. So we have to have this episode be a little shorter than usual. So this is just kind of the intro of what's going on. We're going to have a lot of amazing guests coming up this season, which I'm really excited to have. And
some lives. We're going to have some live IGs. We're going to try doing something like that.
Yeah, we're going to work on trying to get maybe a once a week. Not necessarily like one. So basically, twice a month, Valeria will go live where you guys can talk to her, ask her questions. She can do all of her topics that we can't even get in. We kind of just brush the surface on, but she can go deeper. And same thing with me. So it's kind of like an every other week. Individually, we will be going live.
And some suggestions for things that people want to see. So,
yeah. So
interact a little
we're
bit.
Trying to be a little bit more connected to you guys as well as
our audience.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to switch it up, spice it up this season. And that was Grimm Gals
Spice Edition.
Are you feeling
naughty?